So I will talk about graphs, which is like a GNOME Circle application I started and maintain. And basically how I stumbled into app development. And I'll talk a bit about community and the role of community in this process. First, a bit disclaimer, there are some personal opinions involved, as in all presentations, but I just wanted to highlight that any opinions expressed are my own and not necessarily shared with any maintainers or people affiliated with my employer or whatever. Just to get that out of the way. First, I'll talk about a bit background. Who am I? How did I get here? Well, my background is actually in physics. I studied physics in Enschede in the Netherlands. And then during my master's, I moved to Sweden to do my master thesis. Then I kind of got an invitation to do my PhD, which I did in neutron optics. So that was, originally I was planning to stay in Sweden for 6 months. Then for another few months, then for 4 more years. Now it's 8 years later and I still live there. And now I'm dual citizen. It's during my PhD I kind of got into app development. First I started with Matlab scripts. And then I kind of found the Matlab UI designer. And it's quite fun to make small tools. And it's quite easy. It's just you can drag and drop, and then set the correct buttons. Say this button has to execute this piece of code. So I kind of started developing my first apps. And I have a few small highlights. This is a very early one. It's quite basic. I'm not completely sure why I called it apple pie at the time. Must have been drunk, but basically. It's a logging tool. We did sputtering. Doesn't really matter what it does, but the thing is, we were creating samples and we were logging the timings and the power, voltages, and such, but also the delay of our machine. It kind of gets slower and slower over time. And at one point, it a reviewer that didn't believe us that the fact that our layers got thicker is because our program got slower. Because they're saying yeah, but it's 2020, computers don't, they can run this. Well, not if you're using LiveView. And actually I had the data to prove this. So it was quite fun to have the receipts. Then a slightly more complicated thing. It's also written Qt. They use Qt Designer. This is a tool to do GISEX measurements. Again, a bit too technical to talk about what it exactly is. It's quite horrific, but it was quite nice because there was no tool to do this kind of stuff because we were doing super niche stuff. And then I needed to show or to get data from this quickly. And actually I published a paper with this, which is still by far my favorite paper I published. It's called GIScan. This was the first application I published on Flathub. And actually I looked at it lately. We have in total well, hundreds of downloads in Germany, and none at any other place. And the thing is, the instrument I designed this for was in Germany. So apparently it's actually being used by some people for the thing it's intended for. So it's quite happy. Yeah. The other thing, is also a horrific name, was the original, the original version of graphs, which are called data manipulator, DatMan. First, why I started with this stuff. First, the pragmatic. Basically, measurements that look like this. And every single measurement here in the beginning has a piece that's just scrap data. It's just the way the instrument is set up. You have a direct beam coming in. That's not part of the data. I need to cut this off. And it is quite terrible to do with most stuff. I can use a script, but I have to look it up. Where do I go up? I can look visually. I can take it away in a JSON or a text file. Or I can use the tool where we paid 800 euros for. It's a crime against humanity, in my view, Origin Labs. It's super powerful. I don't want to dismiss that. It's very good if you want to do invent stuff, but if you want to do basic stuff, 99.9%, even in science, the stuff you're doing is just plotting data. It is not great. But also political. I see the content a bit bad, but it's a black box, input in, question mark, input out. The thing is, in science, we have this this very rigorous stuff. We have to be open about the entire process. We have to tell every step we did. We have to be able to show our data. How did you come to this? We have to be able to replicate this independently, except if you're using software. Because then it's fine. Like I bought this tool from this company and they don't have to show what they're doing. And I personally, like this really irked me. I had a discussion quite often with colleagues. People always agreed with me, but no one really wanted to like put any consequence to this, which I understand. People don't really have the energy. But it bothered me a lot. So that's also for me, like I kind of wanted to have something where the data is open at least make it source available. So then I started DatMan. I did it in Qt. Basically, I was using Qt at the time because it's really nicely cross-compatible with Windows. GTK, I thought it was a bit of a pain to get working on Windows. And like all my colleagues were using Windows, so I started using Qt. Qt design is quite nice if you're very new as well. And like to get the stuff out, I could just select data and then press the cut button, and then it's gone. So it worked quite well. Can normalize, so that basically you divide it by the max value. So the max value is 1, so you can compare them. Because the total absolute value is a bit random. Depends how you set up your filters and such. I thought this is fun. Let's do it again, but in GTK, because I'm using GNOME. I really like the GNOME, like the design language and like how things work. And so basically, I'm the only user anyway, so I'll just choose for myself and choose GTK. They're saying me, young and naive. Now I'm just naive. So this was Graphs 1.0. It's quite basically a copy of this DatMan, but I did in GTK. So it was like beautiful. We cannot read this. It's like this bird saying, I know I've said you have to be delusional to think this, but this is the, but there's never been anything cuter in this in all time. And like this beautiful bird, just your eyes and your sinus infection. I stole this from falsenews.com, just to mention that. But it's quite nice. It's like an UI only a parent could love. But then I kind of started sharing this on This Week in GNOME. And I actually got some feedback, which is quite nice. One of the first things, actually I first shared it on Reddit, I'd say. But one of the first things from Harry, he kind of said like, well, you're developing this according to like with GNOME in mind. So you probably should comply to the Human Interface Guideline. So we can thank them for that it's not called DatMan. So we quite had some discussion and like set up in graphs. It's quite nice. I got also quite quickly, Tobias gave me like, actually just proposed a new icon. I had a like very basic icon. Like some others, like also like when I first started the tool, because I had actually settings, then I looked for a JSON file with config, didn't know about G settings at the time. And if it didn't exist, because otherwise it would crash, it would just, okay, it doesn't exist, I haven't found it. So I'm creating new ones. You get like this toast, like I didn't find any config, creating a new one. The thing is, the first start, there is no config file. So at the first start, you would always get like config not found. So I got like a lot of this kind of stuff. And I kind of like, first of all, like it really motivated me because I really thought like, oh, cool, people are like actually helping me, are actually interested. That's like really thing, but also like you kind of notice like community matters. You kind of get this feedback that really makes stuff better for all of us. So kind of early development, called just like starting edit settings, access properties. So you can like change the scaling or like the labels. Also the ability to plot on multiple axes, which was slightly more complicated, but it worked well. Then also around after this, Christoph joined Graphs. So I should also mention this because Christoph has been maintaining it with me at this time. So like he came in around quite early there, and then eventually they started contributing more and more, and eventually like he's now co-maintaining. Probably wrote more than 50%, but like we write like have it together. Just don't want to also say that we I'm not doing this all by myself. It's like mainly a 2-person project plus all the other people that are kind of helping out with feedback. So then we kind of started Graphs 1.4. It's kind of started getting slightly better. We like put in the menus in like these what it's called, these slider boxes. And then we started kind of like getting quite a lot of design feedback. Again, like Tobias helped a lot in the beginning. Like we had this grid of buttons, like you see here in the left. It's not really great, probably. Got some help with the icons. Things like we have these settings in the beginning. We had a save button that's like sticking out in the eye in the beginning. So like we really also like drop apply. Like if you use to change any setting, you have to press the apply button. That's also not really according to the interface guidelines. So after some feedback and such, we came to Graphs 1.5, and there kind of started to look a lot more like it does today. It's kind of oversaturated. It's not in real life, I can promise. But like started quite better, and I think it's at this time we kind of first also at 1.6 where we like mainly introduced localization, so like translatable strings, a lot of under the hood work. But it's around this time we kind of applied for GNOME Circle. So GNOME Circle, you can one way to describe it is like as an app verification program. Now I stole a quote from Tobias from Mastodon. It's the full one also goes into the metadata. But the GNOME Circle is a developer education initiative disguised as a verification program. And I think that's quite true. There's a lot of things that you kind of learn along this way, especially if you're new in this stuff. So we went for a review, and we had, well, I just picked up some stuff, but one of the things that was quite a highlight for me was, for example, touchpad gestures. The thing is, like Matlab, which we use to draw the plots, doesn't do gestures. You cannot like change your stuff by like tracking over the touchpad or pinch to zoom. And so they kind of like went to this, like we have this stuff, we have this limitation. So I never looked into this. I just assumed it doesn't work. The thing is that we got this in the review. So then I kind of started again, like looking anyway, and actually we can use GTK gestures. And GTK gestures, we can just couple this to Matlab, and that worked splendidly. I just spent a week on this, and when this works, it's like a dopamine kick. It was like very like I could play around with this for hours. It's one of these really things when things finally work, and it's like and it works well. It's one of these great things. Also, like we had a lot of settings, and the cell editor. I get into this later. It was like a drop-down menu just. About the settings, just wanted to shout out to this is quite a famous web page, but if you're on online, I should really recommend looking into this. Thing is that preferences, they're often just an excuse for just not wanting to pick defaults. You're cluttering your UI, you're creating a lot of technical depth, and in most cases, it really works a lot better to just have sensible defaults and not have an UI that's like resembles a karaoke machine. It really gets a lot better if you just pick a lane and stick to that. We also had we had a plot settings and we had the preferences. And it was quite confusing because one of them actually was like, here you can set the scaling right now for linear or logarithmic for all the axes, even if they're not shown. But we also had another one where you could set the default scaling. And if you change this one, it doesn't change anything in the app. It's when you open the app again, it would open those ones. Those are kind of these things that like, yeah, why are we doing this? Now we're using G settings and just remembers the previous setting. Or actually, I think for the scaling, we have like a set to default button, which works a lot better. We even had a button for the clipboard length. So like how many states are left in the clipboard. The idea was like if you have 1,000, then we might have a lot of RAM usage. So we might want to lower it. Yeah, also quite a bad idea. We just kept it to a sane default because this is what just confused people. You won't be able to find stuff among all the other crap. Also like the style editor. If you want to change the style of your graphs, you had like a drop-down menu with a lot of names. You had no idea what it would look like. You would have to like pick the style and then like close it and then hope that it looks nice. So this was the state before we sent it to GNOME Circle into this review. It took like quite some time, like 5 months or so. And then 1.7 is the version that got in. And there things worked a lot better. We got rid of like 80%, I think probably 70% of all of our settings. It looked nicer overall. Things worked better. We had this like very nice states as well. So you have like a move state, a zoom state, a selection state. And things like really got a lot more usable. And also like the cell editor was now like this. So you have like a preview of how things look like. Not unimportant. And also to note that we introduce here curve fitting. This is just a thing that I wanted to get in. So you can like, do some regression for any arbitrary equation. About joining circle, just want to show, joining circle works. This is the amount of downloads we have on Flathub. Here was before circle, and that point, like I probably shouldn't even, don't need the arrow, is when we joined circle. And I think we more than tripled, quadrupled, like suddenly, and like it kept stable. And that's also the interesting thing is that when we joined circle, we were like with 20 apps. Now we're at 70. We're not slowing down. So it's not like the new circle apps are ruining it for us, like drowning out the advertisements. See, like as an ecosystem, like we're really getting strong. And that's the main thing that I learned here as well, is like put design first. Don't start with the backend, with the limitation, but really think about how should it work and how do I want it to work, and then like, okay, but how can I use the technology to fit into this instead of the other way around? And I have a little small detour of like a side app I've been working on. It's called Lockpicker. It's like at work, I work with IT forensics nowadays. I sometimes use Hashcat. And the thing is, I won't go too much into it, but the thing is like, if you want to crack a hash based on a password, you send in your mode and then like a random number, then don't even call it A for it, and then like a hash, and then like for your increments, and then you have like a mask, and it's really, in my view, quite horrible. So I had to get a quick UI. So basically what I was thinking at the time is, okay, I'll can just generate a string based on like the menu on the left, and I just dump the terminal output on the right. And then I started thinking, well, wait, this is quite bad. Like, why do I need this terminal output? You get the S for states, the P for pause. Those don't even work. How should it look like? I shouldn't have like a terminal output. Instead, I should just like show a status, and like the preference is like this. And basically, like thinking instead of like, how can I dump my terminal to a GUI is more like, how should the GUI look like, and how can I use that, get there using the terminal output I have, leads to much better apps. It looks better in real life. It's just that I think it's a problem with Podium, to be honest. But yeah, I can like start and pause. Oh yeah, also now if it's cracked, because the thing is, you crack a password at Hashcat, it kind of starts like halfway in the dump. It's super confusing. And now it's just here. You get your actual password using this hash and can copy it. So it worked quite well. So again, like design first, the technology you can fit later. Then Grass 1.8, it's not really super exciting. We had some support for accent colors, a lot of under the hood changes, but most of this time was spent on developing 2.0. So it brings me to Grass today. So last March, I think, we had a release, which was quite big, 2.0. It looked like this. It looks quite similar. One thing that you see is that we have now an equation label here. It's because we now differentiate between equations and imported data. So basically, if you create an equation, it has an infinite canvas. So you no longer can, like, if you scroll out of frame, it generates it again. And it should look like it never generates it because it generates slightly further. And also, like, it can generate data and like import data. And if you do like here we have sin as x times x, if you do a derivative of it, it does this symbolically. So it actually changes the name. It didn't do so previously either. So you can now plot style graphs like here. It's quite quick and easy. And like the style editor actually has a preview, which we didn't have before either. Like if you create a new style, so I'll base it here on weighted dark. For some reason, I changed the name here. And basically, like you can change the, well, basically anything that you want here. I think I decided to change like yeah, I have no taste. I say I want to have the thick directions outwards and I want them to be thick. Anyway, like I can change the entire style sheet once and I can apply it to any graph that I want, which is quite nice. We have proper error propagation. It was first calculated very naively. Yeah. Now it's actually using delta methods. Error bars, it's been requested for quite a long time. It was slightly annoying to get this in, but it works quite well. We ramped import, export, and mobile support. So this is a post-market OS phone, OnePlus. It works actually quite well. It's somewhat laggy, but it's an old phone. That's a problem in Matlab. It's not meant for performance. It's meant for accurate plots. But like you can drag and drop, you can change settings. It works really nicely. And then I have like a few about graphs tomorrow. Basically, one thing I'm working on is fill. So you can like have an upper lower bound and fill in between, or like fill below your graphs. This works quite well. We're just discussing like how to interface this. Thing we have planned is like date time data, because you cannot import currently like a date. It just does data. Units would be nice to have. Histograms could interfaces quite well without like disrupting things, because like 3D plots are often requested. I'm confident to say that probably will never come in. It will make things way too complicated. Also, like because we do symbolic calculations, we should be able to like import. This is like really bad to say. It's a screenshot from someone from GeoGebra, where you can like have a variable and you can like slide it between two values to see like how it changes the graphs. This is also a thing that's planned, but like is mainly like handmade. So like I have one nice example about like also about how open source or that open source works. And one of the things is like above, I have this draft. I didn't make a screenshot of the old one. If you have a Flatpak, like here, it's if you have a project, it gives the path to the project. And the thing is, in Flatpak, it's sandboxed, and we didn't know how to get like the actual path. So it uses a document portal. And then I noticed that GNOME text editor is actually also sandboxed, and it shows the correct path. And the thing is, GNOME text editor, it's open source. I can look into the code. That's what I did. So I found the part. It's file attributes, document portal host path. And then here, it's get attribute string from this. So this is in our Vala code, query info from the document host path, and then get attribute string. So just stole it from GNOME text editor. And I shared this on Mastodon, like, oh, great. I can just share this. Like I looked into someone else's code, stole their solution, and now it works for me as well. And then I got a response from Martin Owens, who was working at Inkscape. Oh, actually, we have a similar issue, and it's not in our code base. And from the developer from Typesetter, which is a great application for using types. And actually, they managed before us. Like we released quite late, but like they stole the solution that I stole, which is fantastic. Like great artist, good artist copy, great artist steal, and I just copy from great artists. So it's yeah, this like kind of shows that like this community stuff, like talking with each other, like sharing your results, your successes, but also your failures really works. Which brings me also to another thing, LLMs. I kind of been thinking a lot about whether I should say something. Like everything that can be said probably has been said a million times. And I think I want to say, like, they mainly make me sad to a large degree. It's like this entire journey has been very rewarding. It's been rewarding thanks to other people, to community, not to talking to a chatbot. And like the kick I got when like the gestures were working, and like the really feeling that you're getting better, that you're learning stuff, it's kind of killing this all. And then I'm not even talking about like the fact that you kind of like give all the means of computation, so to speak, to like some huge big corporations, and of course the environmental impact. I'm not saying there's no use to LLMs at all, but like be careful. I think especially if you're beginning, it's probably ruining more than that it is helping you in the end. We don't need more and faster code. We need slow and good code. Doing things for hand, having the time to think really helps a lot. At the same time, it's kind of tearing the community apart, which is also quite painful. We see like people getting like really bullied for using it sometimes, or which is not really great either. Like community, it's a very sparse resource, and we should be very careful about like hiring the temperature too much. We should lower the temperature. You can like be very critical about the systems, think about this, but I wanted to leave with one final quote from the late Michael Brooks. Be kind to people, but be ruthless to systems. That's where I wanted to end. Thank you.
Any questions for Sjoerd? You can also ask questions in the matrix room. No questions so far. Oh, yes.
Hi. Thanks. Super cool to see this sort of laid out like this. I don't remember half of the things that happened, but I guess I was involved a little bit.
That's in the beginning.
Very cool to see this like a few years on. Yeah. My question was, you mentioned like the Matplotlib does all the rendering of the graph.
Yeah.
But like whatever, the performance of it is not so great because it's doing a lot of fancy shit under the hood. Are there any like whatever alternatives that like are more performant? Because I think like nowadays like that's the one thing of the app that like feels like a little bit like because like the frame rate is completely different than anything else. I don't know. Like, are there any potential solutions there, or is that just like not fixable?
I think I'm not sure if this is working or not. Maybe it is. I think it is. Yeah. One thing that that actually is, because there is some work like on backends that are like use GPU acceleration, just is completely CPU bound. But like these are all kind of like those 80% solutions that kind of work most of the time, and like it's like one guy doing one version and a Matplotlib updates. But otherwise, it's worth looking into it at one point. The thing is, Matplotlib is like very good and very complete. But I agree, like especially if you have like a laptop or slightly older hardware, it's the main pain point. Like my job PC, don't tell anyone that I have used it there, like hacked a bit. There it's like beautiful, but on my own laptop I noticed like, that's also why it's probably good to use like an older laptop for developing anyway. It really like, because you don't notice this otherwise. But it's, yeah, like to answer the question, like honestly, I don't know for sure. But it's worth looking into it, because I agree it's the main really pain point.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Really great, awesome application. Just wondering if there is any plan or any option to get like a component to draw things. Just let me give you a use case. Like I'm maintaining some GPS plotter, so you can see the tracks and so, and you can see elevation, velocity, and so. Is it possible, or is any plan to, or it already exists, some component to draw graphs in other applications?
No, not like the thing is, we just grow as Matplotlib artists, which we can export in SVG, PNG, or like all the things that Matplotlib supports. But there's no plans, at least, to be able to communicate with other applications. I also don't know really how that would work with Flatpak, because we're kind of Flatpak first. like you should probably maybe divide it up into libraries, but yeah, at the moment there's no plans for such a thing.
Any other questions? Nothing in the matrix room. Oh,
hi, great talk. So I'm the person who added the support for getting the path name of the host file thing. So I'm wondering, where should this be kind of documented? Like, what could we do to make it more accessible? Because apparently no one noticed.
No, that's a good question. Like, because I don't know exactly where I would look. Because the only reason I found it is because I saw another app that does it, and I looked into their code base. And I don't know. The thing is, because I think I probably have Googled it or Kagi'd it, and probably didn't have any results. I don't really recall correctly, but somewhere in the docs. But
they are it is technically in the docs, so it exists somewhere. But it's probably not very discoverable.
Yeah.
I've been trying to improve the documentation of the portals, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do about this, so it would be nice to know what to do.
Apparently, viral post on Mastodon.
Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Great talk. You kind of hinted at it, but I'm still gonna ask what your drive was. So you had this app written in a Qt targeting multiple operating systems, and then something drove you to redo it in GTK. Like what was the, because it seemed like a miracle, especially for an app, like you would think like a media player or video player. That's kind of the app where people would favor aesthetics, but like for a data presentation software,
it's probably like, to some extent, it's kind of like me kind of picking the selfish route, as in I kind of started Qt because then I could share it with my colleagues and whatever. And then I realized but I'm like the main user here, and I kind of think aesthetics are important. The interface is important. I'll just use what works best for me. Then I also kind of strongly believe in dog fooding and using your own software, because that's the only way to find the paper cuts and not just the paper cut, also the part where there's friction. This is slightly annoying. So then I kind of wanted no, I'll just choose for myself. And I think that in the end led to better software and also more users. Right now we're at 60,000 downloads in Flathub. Depending on how you count, we're the most popular graphing application. Depends if you count GeoGebra or not. And I don't think it would get to this stage if I would remain pragmatic and choose something that works for all, instead of having something that is nicely polished with a single workflow in mind. So it's mainly originally just because I chose what I prefer, because I think it's nice, and then in the end I think it led to better results as well.
Thank you for the questions. Thank you, Sjoerd, for the presentation. Next one will be about developing GTK with React. Thank you.